Have you ever wondered if you can shape your next life? If you could plan a life after death, what choices would you make today to steer your next beginning? These are not some random philosophical questions I'm throwing at you. Karma Lingpa, a 13th century Tibetan philosopher, in his book, The Tibetan Book of the Dead, gave us some intriguing methods to craft our next life. In this video, we'll be breaking down his ideas into 15 practical rules to shape your next life. If you're new to the channel and seek more quiet wisdom, take a moment to subscribe to the channel for more deep, life-changing videos. Thank you for your support. Now, without any further delay, let's get into the 15 rules to get yourself prepared for your next life. Rule 1. Meet the Bardo. Begin by knowing the land in between this life and the next. The Tibetan Book of the Dead describes a thin place where the familiar world dissolves and a new path opens. This in-between state arrives at the moment of leaving the body and continues as the mind wanders through shifting visions and inner lights. The text invites us to look gently at these stages as a map, not a riddle. Each passage offers a chance to recognize what appears and to remain steady. Learning the names and moods of these intervals helps a person stay present when everything seems strange. The book asks one to become a careful witness, to watch sensations and images without panic, and to meet each appearance with calm attention. In this way, the in-between can become a field of choice. Rule 2. Prepare while living. Preparation begins now. The ancient teachers remind us that habits formed in ordinary life carry over into the moment of passing. Gentle daily practices cultivate a heart that can rest when change arrives. Small, steady acts of kindness, honest attention, simple generosity, and a quiet mind build the inner conditions that will guide awareness later. Meditation trains the mind to remain clear under pressure. Ethical living steadies the emotions so fear has less power. Learning to look inward and to release grip on fleeting pleasures softens the shock of loss. In this manner, a careful life becomes the foundation of a careful death. Rule 3. Recognize clear light. At the edge of death, a subtle radiance may appear. The Tibetan teachings call this the clear light, an instant of great openness that is both terrifying and tender. Those who have practiced can recognize this brightness as the bare nature of mind. The book teaches that if one meets this luminous moment with steady attention, there is a direct passage to freedom. If the light is unrecognized, the mind may drift into dreamlike visions and the cycle continues. The practice here is simple in aim. Cultivate the habit of recognition. Over time, the mind learns to notice the quality of awareness itself instead of being swept away by images and memories. Rule 4. Soften attachment now. Attachment to people, places, and patterns holds energy. These ties have weight in the in-between. The text invites us to look at the threads we carry and to begin loosening them. This is not a harsh severing, it is a gentle unwinding. Practice letting go of small losses throughout life. Notice how clinging tightens the chest, and practice responding with kindness and patience instead. By making space in the heart now, the momentum that pulls consciousness toward familiar sources weakens. A mind that can release with care has a wider field of choice after the body falls away. Rule 5. Guide your intentions. Intention shapes how a life continues. The book places strong emphasis on the power of volition, the simple choices of heart and mind. Everyday intentions, how one chooses to speak, whom one helps, the purpose behind actions, leave traces that guide future direction. Regularly set clear, compassionate aims. Offer thoughts of goodwill before sleep and at quiet moments. These patterns become like signposts when the usual bearings dissolve. When the mind is tired and confused, a steady store of benign intentions can draw it toward kinder options. Rule 6. Gather merit daily. Merit is the friendly energy created by sincere service, study, and devotion. The Tibetan tradition urges the cultivation of merit through generosity, ethical conduct, and simple spiritual practices. This energy supports the mind when it is flighty or frightened. Small acts of help, sincere prayers, and the sharing of resources build a kind of inner capital that the mind can draw on. Such offerings are not transactions, but expressions of connectedness. They create conditions that favor gentle rebirths. In practical terms, live with an open hand and an alert heart. These gestures ripple forward. Rule 7. Practice conscious dying. The book offers practical instructions for the moments of dying. Training includes exercises that teach attention to remain present despite pain or fear. These practices are gentle reminders to breathe with awareness, to name sensations without panic, and to rest with the immediate field of perception. Teachers recommend rehearsing these moves so that in the moment of great change, the body knows how the mind might respond. Like a sailor learning to read the stars, repetition creates skill. When the final hour approaches, familiarity with steady attention can help preserve clarity. Rule 8. Learn the transfer skill. There is an ancient technique often called the transference of consciousness. When guided, a dying person can direct awareness toward a favorable rebirth or a conscious dissolution. The Tibetan Book of the Dead speaks about this as a careful act of navigation. It is a movement of intention guided by a calm mind and clear aim. In communities where this teaching lives, elders and teachers assist, offering words and rituals that support the transfer. The practice is not a magic trick. It is a patient, focused shaping of the mind's last moments so that the next birth is approached with purpose. Rule 9. Choose with wisdom. Choice in the in-between comes from the heart's clarity more than the intellect's plans. The book teaches that the visions which present themselves are responses to deep-seated tendencies, old hopes, and fears. Recognizing these images as echoes allows one to select a path that favors growth over repetition of harm. This rule asks for honest self-knowledge. Which qualities do you wish to carry forward? Where would compassion serve you most? By answering such questions now, in life and when the thresholds are near, it becomes possible to steer toward conditions that encourage kindness and learning. Rule 10. Open to compassion. Compassion acts as a lodestar in this map. When the mind turns toward gentleness, the path broadens. The Tibetan teachings honor compassion as both practice and destination. A heart trained in compassion sees beings as kin and responds with tenderness. In the in-between, this disposition makes the mind less likely to seize on small comforts and more likely to seek meaningful renewal. Cultivating empathy in daily life becomes a way of planning with humility and depth. The book encourages sending thoughts of well-being to others, for generosity of spirit returns as support when the mind is vulnerable. Rule 11. Keep a gentle ritual. Rituals are quiet anchors. Short practices, reciting a phrase, lighting a lamp, offering water, shape a steady interior rhythm. These acts orient attention and create a familiar field that can be revisited when circumstances shift. A ritual can be as simple as a breath sequence, a blessing before meals, or a nightly reflection of gratitude. The value lies in repetition. When the mind encounters strangeness, the echo of ritual can provide calm. Use small sacred acts to build an inner architecture that holds during the most fragile hours. Rule 12. Teach and be guided. Learning from a trusted teacher or joining a community deepens readiness. The text shows how guidance softens fear and opens clearer options. Teachers can offer practices, words at the right moment, and presence that steadies. Likewise, passing on these practices honors those who follow. Teaching is an act of planning for future lives. It spreads tools and stories that help others meet change with courage. Seek companionship on this path and offer your steadiness in return. Rule 13. Honor mortality daily. The awareness of finitude sharpens living. Regularly remembering that life is woven from fragile moments can open priorities and unclench anxieties. Such reflection need not be morbid. It can be an invitation to live with more care. By treating each day as a gift, choices gain weight and meaning. When death appears, this cultivated appreciation becomes a companion, helping the mind move with intention rather than flinch. Rule 14. Frame your legacy intentionally. The traces you leave are the seeds for tomorrow. Consider how your speech, deeds, and inner habits may plant the soil of future experience. Speak kindly, act fairly, and leave offerings of time and attention. These small legacies become a quiet geography that future lives can encounter. Plan your affairs with clarity and generosity so that the final moments are guided by the whole of your life's design rather than by hurried fear. Rule 15. Embrace compassionate curiosity. Curiosity softens judgment and opens learning. The Tibetan Book of the Dead encourages an exploratory stance toward the unknown. When the mind can be curious about the images and feelings that arise, panic lessens and clarity grows. Cultivate a gentle questioning in daily life. Ask what motives guide you, what hurts need tending, what gifts you can give. This practice becomes a light in the dim passages and a gentle hand as you step toward another beginning. All of these rules point to one simple truth. The next life begins with what you choose each day. The choices you make today not only affect your current life, but also the one after. This loop of lives and deaths exists to gather enough wisdom to find ultimate liberation or become one with God. The teachings of Karma Lingpa offer a map that helps us turn the mystery of death into an invitation for growth. Plan gently by tending your heart, shaping your habits, and training your attention. Practice kindness, gather sincere intentions, and build small rituals that soothe the mind. Live so that when the hour comes, you move with clarity and compassion. This is the art of planning a future life, a continuous, humble shaping of how you meet change. If you feel called to walk this path, take one small action now. Breathe with full attention for 1 minute. Extend a kind thought to someone near or far, and make a quiet pledge in the comments to practice again tomorrow.